If you've got a voice, then pull up a seat. Real talk drops with every beat. No echo chamber, no disguise. Welcome to the Dead Mike Society.
This is John.
This is Dan.
Welcome to Dead Mike Society.
So what is going on?
So Trump is in like a tariff war with Canada. He's been at war with the whole world, I think, but like he's doing like 50% tariffs on a lot of their exports.
Uh-huh.
And we talked about Trump last episode, and I'm just wondering, like, do we want a world where we're just like retaliating, and because now they're escalating,
Uh-huh.
and they're going to be increasing tariffs on some of our stuff. You know, it's just going back and forth. You know.
Yeah. So what does that mean? It means that we have to pay more for the products that we ship to them to sell for us.
Right, because the tariffs go to companies, but the companies pass that on to the consumer, which is us. So it's not a direct tax, but it's basically like an indirect tax.
So who benefits from it in the end?
Well, I think it's kind of... Well, okay, so let me start here. I'm not an economist, okay? So I don't know, like, you know, the ins and outs, but, like, my opinion as an American, as an informed, you know, reader of the news, is that it's a political move. That's what it seems. It seems like he's trying to make his, like, constituency happy by having action. You know, I think, like, in The Apprentice show, like, you know, you're fired, and, you know, this, like, real, like aggressive kind of move. I think some people think it's good, but, like, I kind of am more for, like, a team building of the world, you know? Like, I don't want to live in a world where people are just constantly, like, hitting each other back and hitting each other, and it escalates and escalates. And then, you know, he's not suffering from it. He's a billionaire.
And I think he made $1 billion in this presidency.
Yeah.
But with the tariffs, you know, I think in previous presidential administrations, the issue was that they were giving away money. So they were basically not only not charging a fee, but they were paying like an exuberant amount of money. I remember hearing a story. I don't know if this is like 100% factual or not, but that we were paying for like a hammer, like $25,000.
Oh, right, like the Department of Defense.
Right, and that we're paying this outrageous prices for things that no one would really pay that, but because they're spending the government money, why not? So I think that kind of trickled into the trade market. So it was like, oh, well, the U.S. is willing to do whatever we want. So China is sending goods over for nothing. That's why everyone was trying to get their products made in China so that they wouldn't have to pay like labor, all the rules. You know, if you're going to hire someone, let's say in California, all the businesses now are leaving California because of all the strict laws. I mean, I would say California is the worst when it comes to labor laws. I have a friend who owns an escape room. And before he could even open it, he had to replace the toilets for California because they weren't low flush. He had to change every single light bulb because they weren't low energy. And it was just one yada after another yada after another yada.
Wow. Yeah, you know, like, okay, so speaking of California, I think our cost of living is the highest in the nation, right? Because of that, like because of the laws, right?
I'm not sure if it's the highest, but it's up there. I mean,
it would be us or New York, right? Like
those two seem like the highest, but I think there's a few of these kind of gem areas, gem cities also.
What's that? I don't know what that is.
Like the ones that have the elite, they have, you know, they're like more expensive. I'm trying to think of the name right now. There was one, it may be in California, but there was one, it might be up in Maine. There was a couple other little places that are expensive areas. Like I'm talking about the housing, really. Maybe it's not expensive to work there or to go to the grocery store, but to own a home. That's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. And I think probably with these tariffs, like America in general is going to become one, if it's not already the most expensive place to live, it's definitely like hitting like most people.
Yeah, in the world, I mean, definitely. I mean, when you think of countries that are very wealthy, I mean, obviously Saudi Arabia, Dubai. I mean, that's pretty crazy. You know, they're actually creating like a city that's inside of like a man-made bubble, and
In Dubai?
near Dubai, like in the desert.
Okay.
And it's going to be, again, I'm trying to remember all the details. It was like, let's say 20 miles by 20 miles. Maybe it's 200 miles by 200 miles. I'm not sure exactly. But the whole idea of it is that there won't be vehicles, that everyone will have like an autonomous transportation. So there'll be transportation, but you won't drive a car.
I see.
And it would have all the amenities, and the whole ecosystem would be controlled, like temperature-wise. So you wouldn't have storms because it's enclosed, but it's enclosed, but it looks like you're outside, and then it looks like you're at night. Wow. And they're creating this thing in the desert. It's like it reminds me of like a Vegas.
You know, when you're saying it, it reminds me of that Pauly Shore movie where it was like Biodome.
Biodome.
Or something. It's just like everything from the like 90s like is existing in the real world now, you know?
It really is. They're trying everything. I mean, they're making artificial sun. Did you hear about this?
No.
So China, I'm saying China because that's the last one I heard, but I'm sure everyone has it, created a sun, basically, and they can beam energy from like, obviously it's probably not the power of the whole sun, but it's a sun, and it has a tremendous amount of power that can power, you know, millions and millions of kilowatts.
Yeah.
And
it's a fusion reactor, kind of.
Right. They call it a sun.
Okay.
They call it an artificial sun.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, you know, with technology now, I mean, every time I look at these reports and these news clips and these different things, I'm going like you're saying, like, are we trying to relive the 90s, like all of the sci-fi movies, all of the experimental things? It's like, yeah, we're doing it now. Flying cars, sure, they'll be here tomorrow. Like, what are you ready to do?
Right.
I mean, Uber, they have flying taxis. They're just in the final stage of getting them approved, where you could go and order an Uber X chopper that will pick you up and drop you off somewhere for like $100 to $300.
Wow.
I mean, imagine when that's happening. Like right now, you see all the Uber Teslas everywhere. Imagine when you look up in the sky and there's all these like little choppers. They look kind of like drones, and they're just dropping people off. Like, I didn't want to wait in 405 traffic.
Now, is Amazon doing that with? I remember they were talking about using drones to deliver packages. Is that happening? So that's happening.
Yeah, and other companies too. I've seen them. I've seen the drones. They look like little aircrafts, and then out of the aircraft drops like a rope, and then it has a drone here that has your stuff inside of it, and it lands and it lets it out and then goes back into the airplane, and that thing can fly at like a little bit higher altitude, and they just fly around and they let out their strings and their little drones fly out and then come back.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. I mean, I took a trip, and I remember at the grocery store they had it. And you could see like a bunch of kids, you know, like the parents would bring their kids, and the kids would just be watching the aircraft, because it was like, who sees this? And it's all like, I'm guessing autonomous, but maybe there is a pilot for the main one. Yeah. But I think the other ones are GPS, but maybe the main one has someone steering it, you know what I mean, so it doesn't crash into something.
And I know drones are big in the war field as well. You know, like they're using drones in Iran, and, you know, in Ukraine. Like drones seem to be like the new thing. Yeah,
I mean, they seem like they're inexpensive to make, and you don't have to really worry about getting hurt because there's no one inside of it, and they can carry weapons. So I mean, they're pretty, and they can do surveillance like recon. You know, so
how do you feel about the fact that like humans are being put out of jobs though? Like isn't that going to lead to more homelessness, more unemployment? Like, I don't know. Look, I'm not like an anti-drone guy. Right? I definitely am not. I think that like if you're saving lives by not having an American soldier be blown up because a drone can go in, or if you have someone who's like driving 12 hours a day and now you can have Waymo take them in like an autonomous vehicle, like I totally appreciate that, but like what's the unintended consequence? You know?
I mean, you might lose out, let's say for Waymo example, you might lose out on the drivers, but you need still the people who maintain the vehicle. You need people who are like the safety for the vehicle. So there are still operators. So it might be there's not a driver, but there might be 4 other jobs that were created to make sure that that vehicle is safe and ready for duty. For example, who cleans the vehicle at the end of the day? It doesn't clean itself. So you need someone to clean the vehicle. If the vehicle gets a flat tire, who's in charge of monitoring that or driving to solve it or getting a taxi or another Waymo? There has to be a person who you can call who will assist you. So that's 2 jobs right there.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure we could think of 5 more because you probably have like the logistics person who understands all of the Waymos in the area and how many Waymos when it's busy and they have to coordinate. All right, we're going to send 100 Waymos by the airport and we're going to send 25 downtown. And, you know, you need someone who's going to do the logistics because the Waymo's not smart. It doesn't know where to wait.
Well, it's not smart yet.
So you think it's going to get to the point where it just can do its own operations completely?
Well, like, okay, as an example, the lunar rover, right? Like, I think it can repair itself. Like, obviously, there's people who monitor it, right? There's people who are like, you know, technicians and they're like communicating with it and they're typing in instructions. But like the lunar rover on Mars is like millions of miles away, and like it is able to like repair its tracks, repair its camera. So like it's, you know, that's like a, I don't know how much it costs. It's probably like maybe $1 billion or something. It's
Right.
pretty expensive. But like I'm just saying that like in the future, maybe they come up with like a tank system where it's like, you know, more of a track system.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know, right? But I'm just saying that, like, you know, it's possible that something could become completely autonomous
Right.
in the future. You know, just based on like how technology is going.
Well, Tesla Loop, that's what they were trying to do with the Loop. They were trying to get the Tesla cars into this only Tesla tunnel that could go like to the airport, or I know they were doing it in Las Vegas, only to the Strip. So Teslas would have this unique pathway, and I think at some point they wanted to create where the car could charge while it was driving on that road and get power. So you would take the Loop,
Yeah.
and you would be able to charge up like a fast charging and get to your destination without having to worry about big rigs or traffic or whatever it is, and you'd have this special area. I'm not sure if they're still doing it. Last thing I heard was it got kind of shelved, the Loop idea, for whatever reason. But if we created that, I could see what you're talking about, you know, like having a track or having, you know, knowing where the Waymo's going to go. I know they're building another bullet train. And when I say another, they've been trying to build this thing for, I feel like, 20 years.
Yeah.
This bullet train,
To Bakersfield, you're talking about.
it's going to stop at like a few different spots, but ultimately it goes to Vegas.
Oh, that
So-
one. Okay, I'm thinking of the Bakersfield. Okay.
But I think it's going to stop like, you know, there's going to be different stops. So probably Bakersfield or Barstow, you know, the whole line to get out there, because it's going to be traveling, I think, to the point where it gets to Vegas in like an hour, maybe less. You know, I mean, they have these bullet trains around the world. I can only think of the Japanese one, but from what I heard from people who are visiting Japan, that thing is like right on time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they kind of have trains down to a T, you know. Like, like I think, well, okay, let me put it differently. I've only been on like the metro. I've never actually been on an official train before.
But you've never been on a train?
I've never been on a train.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Have you?
I've been on a train.
And
Yeah.
how was it?
It was slow. It was kind of slow. But it was fun. It was like it's like they have a little restaurant, and you know, you can watch the scenery. You get to see the trees through Santa Barbara. You know, they have like an Amtrak.
Yeah.
It's not like if you're trying to get somewhere quick. You don't go like, all right, I'm jumping on this train. I got to be there in an hour. It's more like, we're gonna take the train,
Yeah, you're gonna take it easy, enjoy
the scenic route.
the scenic route. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's nice, and then trains at like amusement parks. You've been on those.
Right. Okay. Yeah. If you count the Disneyland Express, yeah.
Been on that
then
one.
I have been on. it.
That's a real train.
Okay.
But it's slow.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes fast at one point.
Did you know that that's a historic, what do they call it? It's not a historic building, but it's a historic, like, artifact.
Like a landmark?
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
It's a historic landmark, and they're not allowed to make any modifications to it because it has that designation. I'm talking about Disneyland Express.
Railroad.
Yeah.
Is it called Express or Railroad?
It's called the Disneyland Express.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I would say for the listeners who go to Disneyland, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It goes,
It goes around the park.
Right, exactly.
Stops, and you don't get on it to get to your destination faster. You get on it to like look at the dinosaurs, look at the people.
Get out of the heat.
Get out of the heat.
Sit down.
Sit down for a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, in that sense, I do agree with you.
Maybe the parents put the kids over their knees, give them a couple whops for acting up with the frozen bananas, and popcorn. No, I'm just kidding. Don't get mad at me. It's a joke. Yeah. So anyway, back to Trump and the tariffs. Just one other thing I wanted to add to that is that I think ultimately he's trying to put us in a net positive because we have this huge deficit because the last administration gave all this money to the Ukraine.
Yes.
Like $1 trillion.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was more than $1 trillion.
Could have been more. Yeah.
So in his presidency, he's trying to go no, we're not going to be in $2 trillion. Now, I'm not sure how much the bigger, better plan cost. Maybe that was $1 trillion. So maybe we are in $1 trillion. Do you think with the tariffs we're evening out? Or do you think we're in another deficit?
So I think that this is not a situation where I can think my way out of it. I think there's actually an objective answer, and I don't know that answer. But if I had to judge based on the information that is presented to me, because you have to think about this, right? We have 24-hour news coverage. We have news all day long. There's tons of stuff happening: entertainment, sports, politics, crime. There's all kinds of stuff that's happening. And so I'm unaware of everything that comes up because my attention is split between multiple people. So I don't know how much it costs. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that it probably was that, but that's not how numbers work. That's not how math works. It doesn't work
Right.
I feel that 2 + 2 = 5. It's just not how it works.
Right, unless it's synergy. And then 1 + 1 is greater than 2.
Like us.
Right, exactly. So a lot of synergy in the room here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I do think that we're probably also spending a lot of money because I think that just is a part of running the country. I know a couple times during his presidency, the government has shut down. I do remember that.
Yes, there was a government shutdown.
So when that's happening, I know that's more like posture and politics to not pass a budget, and then I think that's when that bigger, better plan went through. I'm not sure all the details of it. Now, listeners, when you know about the bigger, better deal and you read it and you know all the fine print, put it in the comments. Let us know, was the deal really good for Americans? Are the Americans now being prosperous? Are things better from this deal or are they worse? And let's compare it to the money sent to the Ukraine, because that had to be a deal too, because no one's just going to give Ukraine trillions of dollars. There had to be strings attached. So comparing the two deals, and again, I'm going to look into it, and on the next show I'm going to have the answer, but between those two deals, what was better for America?
Now, okay, with the Ukraine thing, right, isn't it that we were trying to marshal democracy in the region? We were they're not necessarily a NATO ally, but we were trying to support someone in the region who had similar views as we did, as opposed to Russia.
Well, they wanted to get into NATO, so that was what this was about.
Right.
And Russia was saying, "You're not getting into NATO, not happening."
Not happening.
And we were like, "Okay, well, we'll teach you how to fight." And that's basically what we did. We gave them air defense systems, we gave them training, we gave them weapons, and we said, sure, we'll be your proxy.
Yeah.
We're not going to send soldiers to fight for you, but we'll send people to teach you how to fight. And I think that they learned pretty well. They're still fighting.
They're still fighting, and it's gone out of okay, so the news that I listen to and I watch, it's gone out of the cycle. I don't hear about Ukraine very much. Whereas when it first started, it was like the top news story on like every channel that I listen to and watch. So like, yeah, I agree. They're still in it, but like I think we have kind of like an abbreviated like attention span. You know, like where we want like the next thing. You know, so like Iran comes up, and then it's like that takes over the news, and it's like we only have so much attention that we can give to multiple conflicts in the world.
Yeah, it seems like there's always a conflict. I mean, before that, there was a conflict between Palestine and Israel.
Yeah.
And what happened with that?
Well, I don't know how political I want to get, but I think that the hostages were released. Okay?
Or given back dead.
Or given back dead. And I think that Israel, like, agreed to a ceasefire. I mean, look, I don't have all the details.
I know.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just wondering what you think, because
Right.
it's like it happened, it was front page news, and then time has passed, and then I'm going like, what do we think happened with that? Like, did they find an agreement? Because remember, for a moment,
I mean, my understanding was there was like my understanding was that there was an agreement, that an agreement was set. However, I know that listeners of our show are going to know a lot more about it. So, like, I'll ask you.
okay,
We give our opinion on this show. It's really a show about like what we think and about like generating like a way for the listeners to think about different issues in their lives. How do you feel about us knowing every answer and knowing every detail about something?
I think it wouldn't be as fun, because we would be kind of, and also a lot of the answers aren't necessarily right answers. So even though you go like, oh, this is what happened, blah, 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 it doesn't mean that that's really what happened from another perspective.
Yeah.
Because you might be in the Hezbollah camp.
Right.
And you're allowed to be. Like, that's part of the freedom of America. You could say, hey, I'm going with Palestine. And there are people who do that. And then there's people who side with Israel, and they go, wait, we can't be attacked from here. You can't do what you did to us in October 7th.
Yeah.
You know? And you have to choose which side you want to be on. It's like, do you want to be on the side of, you know, hostages and murder? Or do you want to be on the side of not that? Or do you want to be just, hey, it's none of my business? Right? So if you had to choose the three, are you on the side of murderers? Or are you on the side of hostages? Are you on the side of revenge? Or are you on the side of it's none of your business?
I'm on the side of Israel needed to retaliate because it was such a heinous attack. Like, it was a music festival, and these were like basically kids.
Yeah.
And they took hostages, and you know, it was just like a really gruesome action. You know what it'd be like? It would be like saying, who do you side with? Charles Manson or the police? And it's just like, you know, like Charles Manson does have rights. Like, I think he has the right to a civil trial, but like, I don't know. Well, I guess I do know maybe some people who might side with Charles Manson, but like, I don't think any sane person would like question the need to retaliate.
Right.
Now, the real question is, was it excessive retaliation? Because like, I think it went on for like a year and a half. Now, I don't know, like, once the hostages were released, was there an additional like conflict that was continuing? Like, I don't know if like warmongering or bloodlust or whatever had a part to play. I don't know. I mean, like,
well, I think what the argument was that Israel was committing a genocide, and they were trying to get rid of the Palestinian people and basically go like, look, you don't have a right to exist. You're not really a country. You're not really anything. Like, you're like make believe.
Right.
That was the argument. So people were like, why would you get rid of a people? They do exist. They do have a right to be there. And that's where the fight comes from. Because the question is, does Palestine have a right to exist?
Now, was that propaganda by the Palestinians? In other words, like, were they trying to like fight the war of public opinion by going, hey, we're being exterminated in a genocidal way, and so they put that into the news media, and of course the news media, a lot of them are very liberal, and so they're going to go like, well, we don't like hunting, we don't like killing, we don't like any of that stuff, so like, oh, that raises a red flag. Like, do you think it had like more to do with propaganda on the part of the, like, in other words, why so many people were thinking genocide and so many people were thinking like extermination? Like,
well, I think the people from the region, so I know a few people who grew up in that region in the Middle East, and from my understanding of our conversations, they were saying that this has been happening for decades, if not centuries, and that you got basically Christians who are the Palestinians. Before the Muslim sect came in, they were Christians originally, and that Israel didn't like Christians, and that they were trying to exterminate the Christians from the land, and they kept pushing them back. And that was what this was all about, even though now a big group of them are Muslim, but the Muslim has, and again, I'm not an expert on this, I just know that there's different types of Muslims, and they don't get along. So there's like Sunni and Shiite.
yeah.
So I think that they are the group that doesn't get along. And I might be wrong, and I apologize if I'm wrong. But that was from what I understand from the conversation. So if that's the case, if they are trying to get rid of the Christians, then it kind of is a genocide, even though now when I think of the Palestinian people, I don't think of them as Christians.
Now, isn't like Christianity like one of the biggest supporters of Israel though? Like I understand what you're saying, right? I hear you in terms of the history, but like if I look at it, like America, I would say is like a predominantly Christian country, and we are like probably one of the number one allies of Israel. And I know that a lot of Christians that I talk to are very much into the preservation of Israel because they believe it's the Holy Land. You know, they believe that that's like the end of days will happen there. Or something like that.
Well, everyone thinks that then. I mean, every religion that follows the book thinks that that's going to happen because that's in the, Revelations.
Right.
You know what I mean? The end of days and all that. I mean, every book, I mean, that one book, Christianity, Judaism, and Muslims, they all follow.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Christians, for example, love the Jews. Because the issue is that the Jews killed Jesus. So the issue is there's actually a beef between Jews and Christians, even though there may be a Christian big areas of Christianity in Israel. There is. And there's also like Armenian Christians. Like there's different types of Christians.
Yes.
And they have their own areas. Like I've been to the old town, the old city. And in the old city, they have quarters. So you could go down one quarter, it's a Jewish quarter. You go down another one, it's Armenian Christian, or they call it...
Coptic?
It might,
no, well, that's the Ethiopian.
No, not Coptic. Whatever. There's a name for it. And they have these different streets, and like, they have a map. And then they have a Muslim area, too. So there's different areas. So I think that Israel allows a melting pot because they're not a democracy.
What are they?
It's like they still have kind of the government police rule. So like they could at any time basically say, hey, everyone, go into your house. Almost like they run kind of like a martial law. But it's not like a 24/7 martial law, but it's not like everyone just goes and votes. You know what I mean? It's like they don't vote. They don't vote like how we vote. It's not a democracy like that, from my understanding. And again, please, people who listen to the show in Israel, give us the rundown. My understanding is that there's two groups. There's a Zionist group, and there's more of like a liberal group. and they are the ones who are trying to balance power in their parliament. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how the voting process goes, but I don't think it's like, all right, it's November, all the citizens line up to vote, but that might be wrong. Maybe they do line up to vote, and they vote in the next, because I mean, how long has the prime minister been there? Seems like he's been there forever.
Yeah, Benjamin Netanyahu. Yeah, he's been there for a good period. But again, maybe he's being reelected. I don't know. I'm not familiar with how parliamentary government works because
Right.
I live in America, so like I'm a little biased
Right.
in terms of my news and my consumption. Like they didn't teach me that in school,
Right.
and they didn't really break that down in any of the shows or anything that I watch, like how other governments work, you know. So and it's not really like a huge passion of mine.
It would be interesting to just kind of figure out,
Yeah.
because we're such close allies.
Right.
I mean, in fact, our military is going to be training with their military to make one military like battalion. I had read that we're going to start working together so that we're on the same page if conflicts come up, where we'll have a special part of the military that works exclusively with the Israeli military. So
and conflicts in the Middle East or conflicts like worldwide?
I don't know.
Because like I know that like Israel is well, okay, I don't know, but my understanding is that Israel is a major ally of ours because not only because of the Promised Land, but because of the fact that they are an ally for us in the region, and the region typically spawns a lot of like problematic country like Iraq, Iran, like, you know, we've had a lot of issues with people in that area.
They're the closest thing to a democracy in the Middle East.
Right.
And that's a part of why they're hated. Because the rest of the places aren't democracy. They're run by like a sheik and a king or a prince. You know what I mean? Like I think a sheik is a prince, right? Or king.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like an English king, but it's I think it's similar in the sense of like I wouldn't go so far as to say dictatorship, but like it's very like extreme conservatism.
Right.
Conservatism. Yeah.
And it seems like they have a lot of the money. These like the people who are at the top.
Well, they have the oil.
So there you go. So the sheik, it's good to be a sheik. You get the oil.
Yeah.
You get everything up there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope that we find peace. And let me just say that. I want peace for all of the regions out there. I don't like what's happening with Iran right now. I know a lot of Persian people in Los Angeles. I grew up with a lot of people who went to, like, Beverly Hills High. And it's just sad because that's still their homeland. And it just sucks that their government turned into this like villain. It was like a villain government that wants to destroy everything. I mean, when the war first started, the Persians in Los Angeles were celebrating. They were in the streets happy.
Yeah.
But now that things are getting destroyed in Tehran and all these places are getting blown up, now they're going like, oh my God, that's like where I grew up. That's like my family used to go there.
I know.
And it's gone. So that's the problem with war, is that part of it is like, okay, this is good because there should be positive change. Like if you could put some kind of democracy in place to run the country, like someone who's able to come to the table and not be about hatred and to be about murder, but instead about like, hey, let's figure out how we all can be better people.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, that's what the people on our level want. We're not all out there trying to get power. We're trying to just live our life and have our families and enjoy this existence. And then there's people who want to rush to get to Revelations and get to the end of the world. And that's the story I'm believing right now. That we're trying to stop them from having nuclear weapons, because if they get them, they can't control themselves. They just have to blow up the whole world.
Yeah. And I do. So again, I do agree with you, and I do think that like Iran having nuclear weapons would be a disaster. So I think that like something had to be done, and so the strikes that we did initially, I think were probably well done. I don't know how I feel about the leaders getting assassinated at a peace treaty, though. I mean, so it's like that question of, is it possible to fight honorably? Like, is that like being naive? Like your opponent's not going to kick you in the balls? Like, you know, is it something that's like, oh well, I only hit above the belt. Like, there's no referees in the real world.
Right.
That's not how it works. There's no like judges in the real world. It's like who wins and who loses. It's sort of law of the jungle in a way.
Yeah, that's definitely what war is now. I mean, I understand the honor, and I was raised with honor, where it was like, you're not going to hit someone in the back, you're not going to sucker punch them. But I think in society today, all those rules are gone. Like, you see now, like on YouTube, you see a fight, and then 10 people jump in. There's chaos.
It's chaos.
There's no more just like one-on-one. People are quick to pull out a weapon, hurt you. And it's the same thing in war. It's like, if you can get the upper hand and just blow up all these people when they're not expecting it, great. You win. You win that battle. And you take that area or whatever it is, or that supply chain. And that's where it's at now. I don't think there's any more honor. I mean, that was like the way of like the samurai.
Yes. I agree. Yeah. Now, I mean, okay. Like, do you think that America is a superpower? Okay, let me change it. So my son was telling me that in warfare, there's like a certain rule when it comes to warfare, like that generals have. And the rule is that it's called total war. So in other words, when you do go to war, you have to give 110% towards the winning of that war, which is kind of why we dropped atomic bombs in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like this idea of like, we're going to end it like emphatically, you know. So I think that might be just the nature of war as opposed to like a fight on the street. So do you see a difference between honor in a fight on the street and honor in wars between countries? Like, does that make sense?
I mean, it makes sense what you're saying, and I think there is a group of people. I'm not going to say if they're, you know, Gen Z, if they're boomers or whatever they are, but there's a group of people in society that want there to be honor and justice in fighting and in war. And then there's a group of people that just want to win. They don't care how they get there. If you're not looking, they hit you over the head with a chair.
Yeah.
So because the group who wants honor knows that that other group exists, they're willing to join that group.
Yeah.
And be dishonorable, because you don't want to be a victim of dishonor. So by definition, you have to be dishonorable in the situation because you don't know what's going to happen. For example, if we went to see a movie and some guys wanted to pick a fight with us, if we can't de-escalate the situation immediately, we have to assume the worst, that it's going to turn into like a brutal bloodbath. Like, you have to assume that, and you have to be more aggressive if you cannot leave the situation. But you definitely can't be in there trying to just focus on one person. You have to focus on the whole group, because they'll attack you. They'll sucker punch you and whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're not going to get into a situation and just hope that God's going to save you, even though you could pray and it would probably work out because you do have the magic prayer.
Right. But, like, I agree with you. I think that, like, if we were, you know, I'll give you an example. Right. Like, so after the Odyssey, right? Like, so I told you we walked my daughter and daughter-in-law to their car. If something would have happened where, like, 3 guys come up and are like, hey, you know, give us your women. Something
Right.
crazy, right?
Right.
And they're just like just insane. Yeah, you can't go like, oh, let me close my eyes, let me say a prayer, let me wish, good things, to happen. Like,
You got to scream to them to run, and then you got to start, trying to take them out
yeah.
as best as you can. And then if you can get a little edge of time, you try to run after them.
Now, I do think that our best weapon is our voice, however. So, like, having said that, right, like,
Yeah.
I do think that, like, fighting is best done as a last resort, although it is a little different now because of the medical treatment that we have. Like, in the past, I think the reason why people had fighting as a last resort is because, like, if you got cut, if you got bruised, if you got a broken arm, you may not survive that. You might die from that. Like, now we have such good medical care that, like, a fight isn't really going to be the end of the road necessarily.
Right.
Like, you might lose an eye or something, but...
They'll give you a new eye.
Right.
We got eyes.
We got eyes. So, like, I think that, like, you do have to look at it from a perspective of, like, how can I protect the people that are important to me? And then go out from there. Like, you can't go, well, these 3 strangers are more important to me than my daughter and daughter-in-law. Like, that's just not going to happen.
No, those strangers are garbage. Like, I'm just saying, like, that's like trash talking to you, like
Right.
trying to steal your people.
Right.
I mean, there's no thing that they could say that would give them any credit in that situation. Like, hey, give me your women. And then it's like, all right, wait, why? It's like, there's nothing they could say
Right.
that you'd be like, all right.
Like a dialogue with them. Like,
Yeah.
well,
Exactly. Now, I want to tell the listeners at this point, if you like the show and you're enjoying the banner that John and I have and you want to be a part of the Dead Mike Society, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, go to the website. It's thedeadmikesociety.com. Get a coffee mug, do something, join the fan club. We're excited to bring you the show. We're trying to do it daily, Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
And then we'll give you guys the weekend off, and then we'll be back, Mondays through Thursdays.
Yeah.
And leave a comment. Let us know what you like about the show, and if you have some constructive criticism, we can take the hit. Let us know what we can do.
Yeah. I think we're pretty receptive to what people have to say.
Absolutely.
I think as a show, because like I think some shows have a perspective of like, well, we're going to do it our way. We don't care what they say. Like the right people will like us. Like we actually are trying to build like a community.
Right.
We're trying to build like an interactive community where we listen and we get feedback. So yeah, definitely leave us a comment.
And if you have a show, if you're doing a podcast or you have a band or you're in movies, whatever it is, you can send us the links. We actually are on every social media, and we're the same. We're Dead Mike Society TV. If you go to TikTok, Instagram, or whatnot, and we're actually going to be doing interviews coming up and having guests on our shows. So if you have something that you want our listeners to check out, hit us up. We're interested in bringing people onto the show to come down to the studio and join the society.
Yeah. So last episode we talked about homeless people or the unhoused.
Ah, yes.
Or bums. However you want to refer to them. But
we're not laughing at them.
We're not laughing at them. It's a serious. Well, it's serious in the sense that like it's probably a really hard way to live. That's not what I wanted to say, but I'm just saying like I'm giving like a caveat. Okay. Having said that, homeless people are being charged with felonies in Tennessee and in other states for camping on public ground. So, like, not on private ground. It's not like it's someone's front yard. It's like the street. And the Supreme Court 2 years ago said that it was legal to do that, to charge homeless people with a violation.
Because they're blocking the sidewalk?
Blocking, now, okay, it's kind of like this, right? Like, how much of drug use being illegal is because it's bad for the person, as opposed to it being a bad influence on people who haven't gotten into it yet and may fall by the wayside? Because humans are sort of impressionable, So if you see, like, a whole tent city like how motivated are you going to be to continue to pay your taxes, to continue to have a home, to have a job? Like some people are going to go like, forget this, man. I'll just join
The circus.
I'll join the circus,
Right.
like, because they're on the borderline. And then once you have a critical mass, then it's like revolutions happen and other things. So like I do see where they're coming from, but like, how do we feel about giving someone jail time for something that they may not have control over? Like they may just be, like you said, like choosing it. But like I said, I think a lot of them are mentally ill.
I mean, I don't think jail time fits the crime. Like, if you are, blocking the sidewalk, that's like a ticket to me, right? You
Yeah.
got to pay a fine. Don't block the sidewalk. Sleep somewhere else. Find another place. But to try to kick people out of public, I think that that's going down the wrong path if that's what they're doing, because public is like neutral domain. Nobody owns the public.
Nobody does.
And if you start to do that, where the police can give you a felony, then what happens when you have a corrupt person who just doesn't like you? They go, you know what? You look like a homeless. Here's a felony. See you in jail. And now you have to prove you're innocent. You have to get a lawyer. You have to do your whole thing, because it seems like it used to be that they have to prove that you're guilty, but society has changed, and now you have to defend yourself. Like whenever I hear of a story, not to change the subject, of someone who's allegedly did a crime,
Yeah.
the comments are always like, that POS, they should get the death penalty. They should do this. But like, that person hasn't even been proved guilty yet.
Right.
It's just allegedly. This is what the story is. This is what the cops are saying. This is what the news report is. You haven't even heard the other side yet, and people are already throwing the axe at them.
My theory on that is that I think a lot of people grow up in homes where parents are very like strict with their children. And so the children kind of grow up in this area where the parents are like, hey, you did this, you're punished. And the child tries to talk back, and they're like, hey, don't talk back to me. So it's kind of like a very like aggressive thing. So I think that like a lot of instances of people sort of jumping to conclusions probably has a lot to do with how they were raised. That's my feeling. That's where I think that comes from. Because I noticed that like when people are raised a certain way with a certain background, they tend to continue that into adulthood.
Really? So you think people who were raised with more of a strict background
And
are...
by strict, I don't mean like, okay, you can't wear midriffs. I'm saying like, strict in the sense of whatever the parent says goes. There's no appeal to authority. There's no like discussing it. There's no like openness. Like there's no tenderness. Like it's hard to raise children, right? Like I'm not judging parents for raising their children strict, but what I'm saying is that like when you have that view of authority, when you grow up, you probably want that to happen to other people. You're like, hey, how come you're not throwing the book at them? Like, death penalty, like straight away.
Right.
Because that's probably what happened to them. Now, I don't know every single person in the entire universe, so I don't know that that's the case, but that's my feeling when you tell me that story.
Right. Yeah, and I think that it makes sense what you're saying with strict parents, and then you get to the front line and you're going like, wait, I thought everyone's strict.
Right.
Right? Because you're so used to that learned behavior that you don't know the other style of parenting. The kind of parents who are just like, hey, do you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not going to be strict. Like, do whatever you want. Really, I think it's, again, I'm not a parent. I think there's a middle ground. You can't be overly strict, but you can't be overly lenient. You have to find the balance. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Yeah, because like excess leniency leads, I think, to like spoiled behavior, and some people may go like, well, what's wrong with being spoiled? But like the problem is that you become selfish. I think, like because your animal nature, like the part of us that is like similar to an animal, kind of comes to the foreground. If you don't have that like restriction on you at a moderate pace. So like I think that like having some restrictions is like almost like a vitamin.
Okay.
It's almost like a vitamin to children because you're going to grow up in a society that has laws, that has rules, that has punishments. Like that's just the world we live in. We don't live in a carte blanche society where you can do anything that you want. We don't really have freedom in America. There are laws. We are a nation of laws.
We are. We definitely tons of laws. But from the selfish camp, they may go, I came into this world alone, and I die alone, so why not give me everything? And if I don't get everything, then I'm going to be obnoxious. I'm going to make a big deal about everything. I'm going to, use my attitude to get what I want and manipulate. So what I'm saying is if you are talking to that camp directly, why can't they do that? Like, I know you gave the points as to why they shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But why can't they do it? Like, why can't you have an attitude and be selfish and want everything and eat all the food and you go to a party and you're obnoxious and you know what I'm saying? Where you're showing off, hey, I got a new car. Hey, look at this. I got a massage chair.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because, like, unfortunately, your actions affect others' treatment of you. So, like, you can do that for a while, but you'll be ostracized in the long run. You'll be exiled from the community. Now, that could be your friend group. It could be the college. It could be your job. But, like, people who act with, like, no awareness of what's going on around them, they put themselves in a position where other people get to choose how to treat them. And, like, as they start to burn bridges, eventually you have no bridges to cross, and you're on an island.
How about if they're rich?
Okay. So I think Elon Musk kind of exhibited this behavior a little bit when he was doing the, what was it called? When he was in the government, he was, like, making everything better. It was like an acronym.
Doge?
Doge, yes.
Yeah.
Doge. Department of Government Efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was doing something where, he was like, look, this is what's best, and I'm going to help Trump, and I'm going to help the government, and I'm going to do all that. And, like, people stopped buying his car.
Right, I saw on the back of Teslas with a cross around Elon.
No Elon, or like I see, like in Malibu where I work, there's people who have stickers that say, I bought this Tesla before we knew Elon was crazy. So stuff like that, right? So I'm just saying that, like, he eventually realized that his actions were impacting his ability to be in the community. So if you're rich and you want to be like, Howard Hughes and just be like this, like, loner, and you live in your car, you live in your house,
mansion,
you have long nails, and you're pissing in bottles, and like, that's fine if you want to do that. But, like, I would say 99% of humans would be miserable with that kind of lifestyle because we're social creatures.
I know. I just, like, when I think of Hollywood, since we live near Hollywood, and I've worked in entertainment, and I've met a lot of celebrities, and I've thrown parties, and I'm just saying there is this sense of entitlement and this selfishness, this attitude. It's almost like everyone's in the room trying to figure out who they want to talk to next. So everything is like small talk, nothing genuine, nothing authentic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there is a place for that because that's the biz. That's like the business in Hollywood. That's like the business on TikTok. That's a business on YouTube. Like, everyone is just kind of BSing and trying to get by until they can get their lime, and then they want to, make as much as they can, and they don't care who they step on the way up. Everyone's just trying to do this little dance, and I agree with you. I think it is pathetic, and I do like that they get ostracized by some groups, but by those big social circles, they eat it up. They're like, oh, you're selfish? You're greedy? Come on in. Shit. Go look how greedy I am.
Selfish together.
Shit, we greedy right here. This is a greedy people. Like there are people who literally just burn money. There are groups of people who just burn, like, bills. That's part of their thing because they're so rich. They just hang out and burn money. I've seen videos of it. It's insane. I mean, maybe it's fake money. Maybe I'm the one who got bamboozled. I'm not joining the group, but I'm just saying I watch the videos and I go like, really? You guys just burn money? Like, there's nothing else you can do in this world with that money. Like, no, you can't think of one thing to do. You've already done everything. You're just gonna light $100 bills.
Wow.
So, anyway, I think it's been a good show, and please hit the subscribe and like button.
And thedeadmikesociety.com.
If you've got a voice, then pull up a seat. Real talk drops with every beat. No echo chamber, no disguise. Welcome to the Dead Mike Society.